Interstellar is the latest Christopher Nolan film and stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Michael Caine, Casey Affleck, and John Lithgow. And this is about in the near future, where Earth has been devastated by drought and famine, causing a scarcity in food and a change in climate. When humanity is facing extinction, a rip in the space-time continuum is discovered, which gives mankind the opportunity to find a new planet and widen its lifespan. A group of explorers led by Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway travel into the solar system to find a planet that can sustain life, and he must choose between seeing his family ever again or repopulating mankind and saving the human race. I was really looking forward to this, probably one of my most anticipated films of the fall-winter season, just because it's Christopher Nolan, and Matthew McConaughey has been great lately. Jessica Chastain is my favorite actress, and looks really great, and I thought Interstellar was a really well done film. We already know a few things going into Interstellar about Christopher Nolan films. Yes, it's going to look beautiful. Yes, you're going to have some great acting. Yes, the score by Hans Zimmer is going to be great. All that is really great. The one thing I did like about the acting is the relationship between Murph and Coop, played by Matthew McConaughey and Mackenzie Foy. I think them two played really well together. Their relationship as father and son duo was really great. She was very smart, and you could tell he was just a really great father to her, and he had a lot of influence on the things that she did throughout this film, and I really liked the relationship between them two, even as she got older, played by Jessica Chastain. Everything that her father taught her was an influence on the film, and she was really great for a young actress. I think she was the young girl that was in the last few Twilight films, the daughter, but here she is so great in the film, and the relationship between them two is really well done. Matthew McConaughey, once again, really great. I hated him growing up, but now he's one of my favorite actors. Weird. Anne Hathaway, great again. Jessica Chastain, amazing. So you already know that you have these great actors and actresses. I don't have to explain myself of how great they are. What we're looking for in the film is it visually great, and how was the story? I think the story interests me a lot. Even though there were a few pacing issues throughout the film, sometimes things happened quickly and just wasn't explained enough for me. I was really intrigued and interested in this idea that Christopher Nolan had written about for Interstellar, with the space-time continuum and going through wormholes, and there's different planets out there and different galaxies. Everything about that really intrigued me, and I was sitting in the theater thinking, you know, it would be so weird for me personally to go through this stuff, through the wormhole, and how much stuff is actually out there. Is there aliens? You know, a lot of stuff is theoretically possible, but you know, exploring it is out there. It's crazy, and that stuff is just mind-blowing for me. And time travel, just a lot of things that made me think about through this film. It's a very thought-provoking film. I was thinking a lot about the traveling that they did in here, and is it possible? Is one day is something going to happen where these things will actually happen to us? So I do praise that Christopher Nolan did take something that is very interesting and mind-blowing and expanded a lot on it, and actually handled it really well with the explanations of these planets. The film is a bit lengthy at 2 hours and 49 minutes, and there are times where the film does feel a little bit rushed. There's some times where the film takes its time, and like I said, it feels rushed at points, so I think that consistency wasn't there with it being rushed and slowed down. The part at the end, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think it was a little bit different from the rest of the film. The last, I think, like 25-30 minutes of the film was a bit different and weird for me, because everything else seemed possible and realistic, that there are these other planets, wormholes, and different galaxies, and then this thing happened at the end, and it was really different from the rest of the film. You know, with the rest of the film being realistic, this was a little bit different and just took a different approach. And I can understand why people would think that this just completely changed the film, and the third act was a bit of a letdown. but I still really enjoyed the third act, even though it took a different approach from the rest of the film. Visually, this movie is beautiful. The score is amazing. Combining that, it makes a lot of emotional scenes. The score towards the end and the scenes that are happening actually made me a little bit upset and teary-eyed. And I think the score had a lot to do with it, and the acting and the story at the end, the last 10 minutes of the film, was a bit emotional for me and made me feel some type of way, so I really did appreciate that. So Interstellar was a very pleasing film, even though it did have some pacing issues throughout. I still was intrigued by the story, pleased with the acting from everybody and the score and the visuals. So I'm going to go ahead and give Interstellar an A. This is Just Watches Movies with his review on Interstellar, and I'll see you later. Bye.